All right, what's up, guys? Nick here. Wanted to answer a question. And the question is, what types of contracts do you need to do the business of surplus funds and to recover overages for people? It's a great question. Okay, let's go over it. What contracts do you need? So here's the thing, guys. Before you can get a correct answer to the question, what contracts do you need? You need to first consider two other questions. Question number one is, what state are you working in? Are you working California? You work in Texas, Florida, Georgia? What state are you working in? You need to answer that question first and have a basic understanding of the laws in regards to surplus funds for that state. The second question you need to answer is, what type of case are you working on? Are you working on a tax sale overage case? Are you working on surplus funds from a mortgage foreclosure, a MO, mortgage overage? Are you dealing with unclaimed funds that are held at the state level? So that's the second question. What type of case are you working? Where is the money at? Is it being held by a county? Is it being held by a state? Is it being held by a court? These are things that you need to know, because these are the things that are going to determine what types of contracts you'll need. Okay. Now, let me give you a couple. There's some basic contracts that I use in my business, and someone else may use completely different forms than I use. Know, guys, that there is multiple ways to do this business. There's multiple ways to structure a deal. There's no one size fits all approach, okay? And that's because every state is different and has different laws. Hopefully that makes sense. But let me tell you, what are the basic forms that I use? I often use a fee agreement. What is a fee agreement? It's a contract outlining what I'm going to do and what my services include and what I'm going to be compensated for, providing my services, as well as what are the client's responsibilities. It's a contract. That's all it is. Fee agreement. Another form that I may use is a retainer form. This is a form structured and created by my attorneys. Another form I might use, depending on the state and the situation, is an assignment form, where I can have the claimant assign their rights to collect to me so that I can do the work for them. I don't use that all the time. It's just one form that I may use, depending on the state and the type of case I'm working. I may use a power of attorney. I may use what I call a letter of direction. I may use affidavits, depending on the situation and the scenario. These are types of documents and contracts that I use in my business. But here's the thing, guys. As things have progressed and as I've gained more experience in different states, these are the main ones that I've mentioned, but there are different versions of each one for the states that I work in. Let me give you an example. If I'm working a tax sale overage case in California, I know that I'm going to use a fee agreement and a specific assignment form. But if I'm in Florida doing a tax sale overage case, then I'm going to get a fee agreement and a completely different assignment form. If I'm working a mortgage overage in, say, California, I'm not going to use an assignment. If I'm working a case in Maryland, I'm only going to need one document, a fee agreement. If I'm working in Texas, I'm only going to need one document, a fee agreement. In Arizona, I know I'm going to need two different forms. In Utah, I'm going to need two forms. If it's an estate case, I'm going to need additional forms. So here's the thing, guys. Bottom line is, if you ask the question, well, what contracts do I need to do the business? it's a valid question, but you cannot receive a correct answer if one, you don't know what state you're working in, and two, you don't know what case you're working on. Okay. I've listed out some typical forms that I use, but let me be very clear. The types of forms you use are going to vary, again, depending on what state you're working in and what type of case you're doing. Okay. So it's very important that you have a basic understanding and learn the process from someone that's done it, or, you know, at the bare minimum, read the law. Read the law in regards to your state and where you want to do business in. Like, don't go into something blindly. Because the worst thing you want to do is promise someone that you're going to help them get their money, and then you jack up their case and you don't get any money and they don't get any money. You don't want that to happen. Okay. Now, where can you get the forms? Okay. There's lots of ways to do this. You can pay an attorney to draft the forms for you in the state that you're working in, specific to the types of cases you want to work. Okay. Side note, if you pay an attorney, please make sure that they've actually done deals in regards to surplus funds and overages. Don't pay an attorney that's never done it. It's just my opinion. At the end of the day, you can do what you want in your business. But I would recommend that if you go to an attorney to get paperwork and you pay them, ask them their experience in surplus funds. Option number two is you can make your own. You know, anyone can make their own contract. I wouldn't recommend this because you may be putting in language that may not be kosher with the state you're working in if you don't know a basic understanding of the law. So that's not the best route to go, but it's possible. The third route is just get access to forms that have already been proven and that have already been used in different states and in different scenarios, and so that you know that they're going to work. Okay. I give access to all my forms to all my students at school.overagecourse.com. But you don't have to go there to get your forms. You can go get your own. You can go pay an attorney. You can go get some in another course. Doesn't matter. But that's where you can get them, guys, is pay an attorney, make your own, or just get a course that provides that for you. So whatever you want. And that's it. So that's all I have for you. So again, just to recap, what forms do you need for this business? Again, it depends on where you're working and the type of case you're doing. Common forms that I use are fee agreements, assignments. I rarely use powers of attorney. Rarely do I use powers of attorney nowadays. Do I still use them? Yes, but it's not very often. Retainer agreements, affidavits, letters of direction. These are other forms that I personally use in my business. You may have, you know, other forms. You may have a buyout agreement that you use. It just depends, guys, on where you're working and what type of case you're working on. Like, and that's why this business is difficult, right? Is because every state is different. And there's no one size fits all approach. And anyone that tells you that says, oh, all you need is this and it'll work in all 50 states, they've never done a deal in all 50 states. Let me be clear, neither have I. I've not done a deal in all 50 states. At this point in time, I've only done deals in about 12 states, okay? But from the deals that I have done, I've been able to tailor documents specific to that state. And I give access to those inside my course if you want them. So I hope that helps, guys. That's all I have for you. Hope that answers the question a little bit. what forms you use. I've listed out typical forms that I've used. And we also went over where you can get those forms. Okay. Let me know if you have questions. As always, I'm here to help you. And you can check out school.overagecourse.com. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.